expecting a full house on Long Island as the 8th-seeded Stony Brook Seawolves have a home game against the top-seeded Virginia Cavaliers. One spot left for championship weekend in Baltimore. Earlier today, Cornell knocked off Army, so the Big Red joins Notre Dame and Duke in Maryland. Hello and welcome to Long Island for Game 4 of quarterfinal weekend. I'm Eamon McEnany along with the former Tewaaraton Trophy winner from Virginia, Matt Ward, and the former Johns Hopkins All-American goalie, Quint Kessenich. Matt, you were in Charlottesville last weekend for Virginia's first-round game against Mount St. Mary's. That game at home on Klockner Stadium. A little bit different atmosphere here today.
Yeah, as the #1 seed in the tournament, they probably weren't too happy when they saw they could potentially play Stony Brook up here, but this is a team that's played a lot of big road games, so they should be ready to go. Stony
Brook advancing with a win over Denver. And Quint, if the college lacrosse fan didn't know too much about Kevin Crowley, he does now after his performance last week.
This is a Seawolves team with exceptional firepower on the offensive end of the field. Kevin Crowley, out of British Columbia, right-handed midfielder, 49 goals. He's powerful, he's skillful, he's creative. He drives in with the two-handed cradle and keeps his options open. You really can't stop him with one man. He's an off-ball force as well as a constant cutter. And one of the keys to an upset today starts with facing off. Adam Rand, 4th in the NCAA in face-off percentage. He did well in the first half against Virginia in the regular season.
Both coaches admitted that was a huge game in this game. Matt, Virginia comes in 15-1, and no question about it, the strength of this Cavalier squad is at the midfield.
Yeah, especially Shamel Bratton. He was a player who came into the season with all kinds of expectations. He was hampered early with a bad hamstring, but now he is playing great lacrosse. He is always a threat on anybody to take it to the cage. He's developed a lot of range on his shot, and is also very skilled in his game knowledge and getting players involved in the offensive sets.
Shamel and his twin brother Ramel began their lacrosse reputation here on Long Island, but as far as the attack, they can put it in the back of the net as well.
Yeah, Steele Stanwyck has probably been their most consistent player. He is their quarterback. Reminds me a lot of Connor Gill, who is a great attackman at Virginia, and he's also doing a nice job this year taking it to the cage for his own shots.
That's the Virginia story on the field. For more on the Cavaliers off the field, we go down to the field for the 4th member of our broadcast team, Bob Holtzman, standing by.
Eamon, this is Virginia's first road game since Yardley Love was killed and since George Hughley was arrested. They said all week they weren't sure what to expect here from the crowd. So far, it's been pretty tame. One reason why, the Virginia bench about 70 yards away from the Stony Brook student section. But head coach Dom Starsiak did warn his team before this game that they may hear things from the fans they don't like. He told his team just ignore it. Eamon?
Bob, thank you very much. Moments before face-off, let's take a look at our Warrior Lacrosse Impact players, brought to you by Warrior Lacrosse. Quint for the Seawolves.
You met Crowley and Rand already, but the heart and soul of the Seawolves, Steve Waldeck, long pole midfielder. He will jump off the TV screen at you. Last week, 11 ground balls, 3 caused turnovers, 1 goal.
And for Virginia, we mentioned Shamel Bratton, Steele Stanwyck, but Ken Clausen has become the leader. He's going to be the first 3-time first-team All-American in University of Virginia history, and he has been the captain for this team all season long.
Ken Clausen, a finalist for the Tewaaraton Trophy, the Player of the Year, college lacrosse's equivalent to the Heisman Trophy. Dom Starsiak in his 18th season at Virginia, looking to make it back to championship weekend for the 12th time with the Cavaliers. So much focus on the face-off. X, Rand for Stony Brook in the home red jersey. Brian McDermott for Virginia in the home white. Rand still has it there. He hasn't moved. Now everybody comes out of the box, and it's Crowley and Stony Brook coming up with a loose ball. So the Seawolves go to work first. 1 spot left in championship weekend.
Tell you, winning the draw is only step 1 of a face-off control for Stony Brook. Getting the ball safely into their offense will be a challenge today.
This is Tom Compitello, a local product who is having a big year for the Seawolves. Robbie Campbell, a Canadian product that this team is loaded with players from north of the border. Going right down, Gilman with the big save. Interference call on Virginia, knocking a player into the crease while Gilman had possession. What a save for Gittleman, denying Timmy Trenkle.
Yeah, Trenkle with a wing dodge. Seawolves do a good job of clearing out that entire side. It was Gittleman who played an outstanding first half during the regular season against Stony Brook. Really kept Virginia in the game where they eventually would go on a run in the third quarter.
Gittleman played his high school ball at Cold Spring Harbor here on Long Island. Won a state championship. So he is playing in front of several friends and family. Here's Compitello. This is Kyle Belton. Now Campbell. Loses his man LaPierre. Jordan McBride.
And I think this is the pace that you're going to see Stony Brook kind of try to dictate at. They don't want to get up and down the field with Virginia, and they're very skilled and like to play two-man game to set picks, so you're not going to see them try to push the action up and down the field. They're going to play slow and try to get some stall warnings called on them just to get into the flow of the game.
Backdoor cut was there, but they can't make the pass, and Crowley with a foot on the line is a turnover after the stall call. So the freshman LaPierre goes the other way. This kid is a great athlete, but he puts on the brakes. Now here's Brian Carroll, the senior out of Towson, Maryland. Shamel Bratton out there takes the pass. This is Chris Bachlet, a sophomore out of Westchester County in New York, who's having a monster year. Shamel gets a look going right down the alley, and he puts it right between the 5-hole of Charlie Parr.
To me, one of my Stony Brook keys you'll eventually see is defending the Twins. I don't think Stony Brook is really, it's not one of their strengths, their midfield defense, other than Steve Waldeck. They mismanage the pick. They underestimate the speed. And Shamel Bratton gets to his strong hand running downhill. There are my keys for Stony Brook up top. Defend the Bratton brothers, the twins. Obviously, they haven't done that so far. And handle UVA's defensive pressure.
And for Virginia, I think they need to face off around that 55% to really dictate the pace of play and then contain the big three of McBride, Compitello, and Crowley from Stony Brook.
There is a speed differential in this ball game. Virginia, to me, watching tape and seeing both teams in person, they're just the faster team.
Rand wins it to himself, gets it in the box. Here's Waldeck. Quint mentioned him. Now in transition off the substitution, it's Crowley. Clausen doesn't slide. There's a pass and a goal. Crowley to Laverne, unsettled. We're all even at one.
And this was nice recognition by Stony Brook on the substitution advantage they gained. And Crowley just does a nice job getting the ball up to the open man, and he buries the shot low. Nothing really Adam Gettleman can do on that.
A sloppy Virginia substitution, which left them down a man.
So now a change at the faceoff for Virginia. Garrett Ince, number 15, goes in there. They want to keep throwing fresh bodies at Rand. Rand will be out there all day taking these faceoffs. And Ince wins it, but it's swing play from Crowley and Stony Brook coming up with the possession. Now can they get it over midfield? Stony Brook loses the stick. Green loses it, so Virginia unsettled. Here's LaPierre going right down the middle of the field. Big save by Parr.
LaPierre taken down after the shot.
Call against Virginia.
Call. In fact, they said he went in the crease.
I think they're going to call him for lying on the ball. I think it's what they're going to call withholding on Virginia. But that's a big stop for Parr right there.
Charlie Parr played his high school ball at Huntington, a one-time teammate with the Brattons, a big-time recruit. Started his collegiate career at Nassau Community College, where he was the MVP of the Junior College Championships. And he makes a big save there to keep this game even at 1.
One of the storylines we'll have to keep our eyes on. Stony Brook relies on the first midfield. They've been out on the field the entire game so far. 85% of the time. A little warm, but kind of not too bad. We'll see how their energy level is affected in the third and fourth quarter.
And right now, if I'm Stony Brook, I give the ball to Crowley to dodge against the short stick. Virginia wasn't able to get their long stick midi on the field and try to attack that matchup.
There's a tough shot. Good defense there. There wasn't a whole lot of mustard on that shot, so we have numbers going the other way until a big hit there from Jordan McBride forces the loose ball. Now Nizelek for Virginia. Gets it in the box. Stanwyck, the extra pass. Buckley buries it on the doorstep.
Shot selection is so key. Stony Brook rides hard, but they overplay the ball. Pomper realizes that he's got a head man in front of him, and they get the ball out. A bad shot against Virginia ends up in transition.
No goal, though. It was wiped out for some reason. Trying to find out why. Maybe Virginia, I don't want to guess. A crease violation.
Could be offsides or crease violation.
That's the only thing I could guess. I didn't think he was anywhere near the crease, but we'll have to take a look at a replay when things settle down. Now Compitello.
Okay, the shot selection against Gittleman's important. He's got on target with his outlets. Virginia likes to run.
And he's a goalie who, if he starts making those first couple saves, he really builds on that and gets a lot of confidence. But if you score on him early, then he starts to question himself a little bit. So that is why those shot selections are so key.
Compitello can't catch the pass. Clausen there for the ground ball. So we're being told that Bocklet was indeed in the crease. This is Max Pomper with Waldeck all over him. Now they have to get it back in the box. Lovejoy up ahead, and they don't do it in time. No, it's an offsides call. So let's take a look at the no goal quickly. Oh, the restart, we're not going to be able to do that, as Waldeck is always a threat to score. Last week he scored from basically midfield against Denver. Waldeck trying to make it 2 former Levittown MacArthur Generals in championship weekend. His former teammate Scott Rogers will be there for Notre Dame. This is Kyle Belton. Now Robbie Campbell being guarded by the short stick, Mikey Thompson.
Excellent offense by Stony Brook, extremely skilled, fueled by extra possessions off of face-off wins. Early in the season, sloppy turnovers. They had tons and tons of turnovers, but because of their high shooting percentage and face-off wins, they can kind of fight through those type of turnovers.
Robbie Campbell. Now Compitello looking to feed. Pass knocked down by Clausen. This guy can run. Clausen in the open field, but Crowley there waiting for him.
It's key that Virginia try to keep Crowley on the field and wear him out on the defensive end.
Connor English on the field. Now Shamel Bratton, he already has one. Waldeck all over it. A tough assignment for Waldeck. Now Stanwyck being guarded by Ginlett, the senior.
Waldeck can hold up against one of the Brattons. The question is, you need 2 guys, and it's typically 2 poles to bump up. Right now, Stony Brook playing conventional defense.
By bumping up, you mean take a close defenseman who normally guards an attackman out to the midfielder who is usually guarded by a short stick.
Exactly.
Carroll gets his hands free but can't put it on the cage with just over 7 minutes left in the first quarter. This is the final game of the quarterfinals of the NCAA Lacrosse Championships. Duke, Notre Dame, and Cornell are heading to Baltimore. Who will be the 4th and final team? Virginia is the top-seeded team in this tournament. 15 wins, 1 loss on the regular season, or on the season. Now, Ramel Bratton, number 3. This is Carroll. See, they're trying to shut off English. There you go. They're guarding English with a short stick, but he gets the ball. So the attackman trying to exploit the matchup. He gets Carroll with a great look, but a good check there. Waldeck closing and getting on his hands.
And Connor English isn't your normal starter for Virginia, but what he does do is he's great at attacking and slashing towards the cage. So I think Virginia realized coming into this game, put English in, he's going to win that matchup against the short stick almost every time.
Stanwyck moves it up top. Shamel Bratton. Waldeck stops the spin move in its tracks. Now he draws the slide. Good check there by Brian Reiner, but he's getting called for a flag.
Waldeck's initial check was excellent, but then as Bratton got by him, he kind of backhanded him in the back of the head. An obvious call that we could hear from upstairs.
Let's take another look.
And you can see this defense here is fine, but it's this big wrap right in the head that you just can't do. A lot of defensemen like to take the risk there and think they can get a back check, but more times than not, going to get called for a slash rather than anything else.
So the extra man unit for Virginia goes out against Stony Brook's Ricky Souls man down unit. Matt, who should we look for in this extra man attack for Virginia?
You know, they usually like to get the ball to Stanwyck in a position to feed and find Brian Carroll or Chris Bachler for a step down shot.
There's a shot right in the gutter call. He stops John Haldy. You heard the chest protector all the way up here, Quint.
That one was midsection.
Now Legal, the one-man clear. Throws it away into the middle of the field. Compitello bails him out. 18 seconds left on the penalty. So the Seawolves are going to try to run some clock.
I can't imagine that was Virginia's design shot. Haldy from 12 yards.
Yeah, Haldy is more of a kind of a dodger rather than someone you think with a lot of range on his shot. And so that probably wasn't the primary option. They're probably looking for Chris Bachler, who fed him prior to that shot.
This is Robbie Campbell, under 5 minutes to play in the opening quarter. The 8th seed, a road team at home, taking on the top-seeded Virginia Cavaliers. Now Crowley. Compitello attacks Clausen, looking for that inside roll. Now he goes back to his right. Lovejoy with the double. Now Kyle Belton being guarded by Nizelek.
Virginia wants to play big boy defense. Get out, play the ball aggressively. You must be able to run through and by pressure.
This is Compitello again with the ball. He works the left. Clausen pushes him away. Clausen goes for the trail check. Compitello gets a step, but can't put it on Cage. Clausen gets antsy sometimes and likes to throw checks.
I prefer when guys take Clausen up the right-handed side because he tends to keep his stick on the backside. You can actually get a strong side right-handed shot. I think his left-handed hold is exceptional.
Clausen playing his high school lacrosse at the Hill School in Pottstown, Pennsylvania. Now wrapping up a phenomenal collegiate career as a finalist for the Tewaaraton Trophy.
And Stony Brook is sticking to their script. They're being patient on offense. They're spinning the ball, kind of trying to take the wind out of Virginia's sail, which is transition.
Carroll on a switch now on Crowley. Advantage Stony Brook as they put in the stall warning once again. Nizelek quickly doubles and they switch.
It's a nice job by Nizelek to flush that matchup.
And they come out of the box, so a mental error for the Seawolves turns it over to Virginia. For more on the Cavaliers, let's go back down to the field and Bob Holtzman.
Well, so far so good as far as the crowd's concerned. Obviously, that was one of Virginia's big concerns coming in, is what they'd hear from this crowd. It's been crazy down here. It's been loud. This is the loudest crowd that Stony Brook has played in front of this year. And their head coach, Rick Sohl, told us this week that they want to make it a productive first few minutes. Here we are 13 minutes or so in. So far so good for Stony Brook.
Feeding off the crowd was a key both coaches talked about this week on the conference calls with us. Here's Bachler. Now Shamel Bratton out there with Haldy and Briggs, so kind of mixing and matching lines already.
Yeah. Talking to Dom Starsia 2 weeks ago prior to the Mount St. Mary's game, said sometimes you don't realize just how tired these kids may be. They didn't look tired against Mount St. Mary's.
And he didn't look tired there with a fastball ripping the twine. He's got two.
This defense, they're going to have to change some of their matchups up top. When you talk about the crowd, the Bratton twins were two guys I thought would thrive on this environment. Coming back to Long Island, playing in front of family and friends, 8,500 fans here. To me, they have always shown up in the big games.
Yeah, and Shamel is playing great lacrosse. Coach Van Arsdale said that he has been one of the best players all season long for them.
He already has 2, and his club leads by 1. Stony Brook, Virginia up 2-1, and they came very close earlier to making it 3-1 as we take a look at Bachlet's no goal.
Potential crease violation. They called it. We'll see if it was true. Stanwyck down low.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right there.
That's
good call.
inside that yellow line. Called by the officials, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Let's see why they called it. What a great year Bachlet's had as a sophomore. And more than just a shooter. This is a kid, I think he's great on loose balls, and he's a real tough guy to cover off ball because he's constantly cutting and moving.
In our Sector Spiders player portfolio, we take a look at the year Chris Bachlet had. Just 4 goals last year as a freshman, coming into this one, 46 as a sophomore. So Virginia wins a face-off after Stony Brook had won 3 in a row. Matt, give us a sense inside the Virginia plan of attack here, the final 2 minutes of a quarter with possession.
You know, I think it's early enough in the game where Virginia's not going to try to kill it to the end of the quarter, but Coach Van Arsdale, UVA's associate head coach, loves to win the end of quarters. He loves saying that, and he thinks those goals at the end of quarters are big for any team.
Stony Brook trying to come up with the turnover. The Seawolves did momentarily, but good hustle on the ride. Gets it back to Briggs in Virginia. 1:25 left in the quarter. Good feed inside to Haldy, and he puts it in low and away past Parr.
And Virginia is a team that rides as well or better than every single team in college lacrosse, and they usually get 1 or 2 goals a game off those rides. And this is a perfect situation there where you get the ball back, you throw it down to Steele Stanwyck, who feeds a cutting John Haldy.
For more on the Seawolves, let's go back down to Bob to hear what Ricky Soul's message was in that last time out.
Yeah, Coach Soul unhappy with their lack of production on offense so far for Stony Brook. He told his team, this crowd is dying to get involved. Give them something to cheer about. Clearly, he's trying to take advantage of the biggest crowd they've played in front of all season.
All right, Bob, thanks a lot. There's a look at Ricky Soul. What a year he's had.
You see the frustration in his posture right now. Stony Brook with only 4 shots. They've been really, really patient. Matt, you made a great point. Clearing game and riding, Virginia's been exceptional this year. And off that change of possession, Stony Brook's got to match up and call out numbers. So it was a well-timed cut by Haldy.
Ground ball by Waldeck and the Seawolves. Lowers the shoulder, shoots. Gittleman makes the save on the bouncer, his 3rd of the day. Now a whistle on the ground ball.
It was real interesting when we talked to Dom Starzer. They treat Steve Waldeck as an offensive player because of the numbers he puts up and because of the energy that he carries down the field. I mean, on the season, 9 goals and 4 assists.
And talking with Coach Sewell, he was so energized and emphatic about how great a shooter he is. He said he shoots just like a midi. He really gets that torso rotation. And you can see there, he's dodging one-on-one, and he gets a lot on a shot in transition.
For the final minute of the first quarter, Virginia with the ball. This is Carroll.
Go, 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 go!
Draws the slide, ball movement, extra pass. Shamel looking to create. Goes back to his left. Extra pass to his brother. Parr with a save. Bachlet picks it up, feeds. Unsettled lacrosse. Bachlet to Carroll.
This could get ugly at this pace. If you can't cover Shamel up top and Rommel, then everybody else is going to get involved. Shamel draws the defense. Look at the slide from 13 up the field. And next thing you know, just riddling the goal with pressure. Bachlet, I talked about his ground ball play. Carroll finds the soft spot. This is a Virginia offense that is just downright scary.
Ryan Carroll looking to have the most productive career as a goal scorer of any Virginia midfielder in the program's history. 4 goals away from doing that.
I don't really think there's been a midfield as deep and talented as Virginia one. You know, the last great one I can think of probably was Harrison, Paul Rabel, Greg Pizer, Stephen Pizer from Johns Hopkins. But right now, I just don't see any midfield that's ever been like this.
Coach Scholl's got to make some adjustments. He's got to do a better job against the Virginia Middies.
So the home crowd hasn't affected the team from Charlottesville at all. After one, the top-seeded Cavaliers having things their way. Virginia leads 4-1. Virginia grabs the early momentum and leads by 3 after 1 quarter of play against Stony Brook. This is the final game of the quarterfinal weekend as we take a look at the bracket. Virginia looking to join Duke, Notre Dame, and Cornell. And Matt, you were down in Charlottesville for the first round game against Mount St. Mary's. You had a chance to talk to Coach Starja this week and some of the players. How would you describe or judge the difference in sort of attitude and emotions getting ready for this game as opposed to last week?
Talking with some of the players before the game, they seem a bit more relaxed. And they're just ready to come out here and play lacrosse. And now that classes have finished, they're just on the sports field all day long, so they're away from all the distractions that have presented them.
McDermott called for a violation on the face-off, so Stony Brook will talk to the ball.
That's a takedown and back points. He turned him.
A former championship wrestler here on Long Island, giving us the breakdown.
Stony Brook shooting 1 of 5 in that first quarter. Virginia 4 of 9. Rand keeping Stony Brook with some hope in terms of possession time and getting the ball. He dominated faceoffs in the first quarter. He won 5 out of 6 draws.
He has worked a lot through the years with faceoff specialist Matt Schomburg, a former star at Adelphi and a member of Team Australia, helping him become one of the best faceoff specialists in all of college lacrosse. So now Stony Brook looking to answer on the offensive end.
And Stony Brook's approaches are trying to attack these short sticks and get shots. They're taking them up high and wide and trying to duck under. And right now, Virginia's doing a nice job of not giving them any separation for shots.
Compitello goes behind his back. Gittleman there. Now Clausen with another ground ball. 4 saves for Gittleman. Clausen gets it up to Nizelek. He's looking for LaPierre in the middle of the field, but he goes behind to Boxley.
It's a good pass by Nizelek. Get the ball behind. Then your middies can continue to cut the crease. If nothing's there, you settle. And how about the ground ball play from Ken Clausen? That's where he's always been at his best. He's fast. He makes good decisions with the ball. He's able to always get out of trouble.
Inside, wheels and deals. Paul with the big save there to keep it 4-1. He now has 4 saves. Stony Brook throws it away on the clear.
Another great job by Virginia riding. They're taking a step back towards the midfield, making it difficult for Stony Brook to get into the offensive end. And Virginia creates a whole lot of offense off of their riding game.
7 turnovers already for the Seawolves. This is Connor English out of Manhasset, Long Island. He draws the short stick, gets a step, keeps coming. Now he's in trouble. Decides to attack another shorty. Redodge and redodge. It's 5-1.
Connor English, usually not the starter for Virginia. Matt White, the other freshman, is, but his matchup against the short stick is very favorable. You can see here he gets low, keeps his balance, and then elevates the shot to the top portion of the goal where Parr had no chance of making that stop.
That is a gorgeous move. A couple things. A change of direction, but getting the ball out of the stick before the double team gets there, working to a strong angle, deception. And you think that's why Dom Starja has Connor English in the game instead of White?
And speaking with the coaching staff early in the year, they were talking about Connor English was a player they like to play against teams that extend out because he is a slasher to the cage a little bit more than Matt White. So I think that's why he is in the game.
Listed as the 7th best senior in the class of 2009 by Inside Lacrosse. Not a stranger to scoring goals at all. 81 in his senior season at Manhasset. Another turnover. This is Max Pomper in the middle of the field. He gives it up. Shot. Hits the crossbar. Stanwick came so close to making this 6-1. We go the other way. The pace is quickening right now. Here's a shot off the mark from Legal. Whistle stopping the quick restart. Stanwick not exactly known for his shot. That one was cooking.
You know what? Stanwick doesn't have the most kind of power behind his shot. But this year, I haven't seen a lot of goalies stopping his outside shot. He shoots it over the hand, over the top, and it's just very accurate. And a lot of times, that's more important than power in your shooting motion.
So now Campbell. Stony Brook has been stuck on one for a long time. Trankel trying to end that, but he gets it behind. Now Crowley. Drawing Lovejoy. Crowley gets a step. Shoots. Gittleman ready for it.
And Adam Gittleman has been playing unbelievable lacrosse the end portion of this season. And right now, the Seawolves are making it too easy for him. He's getting that confidence, and you're now at the point where you're going to have to have a perfect shot to beat him because he's getting a couple of these cupcakes, as we like to say, and making the easy stop.
Quentin, you know that position better than anybody. What would you say is Gittleman's strengths? And feet inside, catch not made, ground ball.
Adam Gittleman is an exceptional athlete. I don't think people realize how just good he is. He was a great high school running back. When he's on, not only does he make stops, but he's catching the ball and can really change the game with his outlet passes.
This is Campbell. Gets it in the box, takes a whack, gets triple teamed, and a big hit there. Colin Briggs coming in on the slide and lowering the boom. Stony Brook holds on to the ball. Campbell takes a run at Lafayette. Now Crowley comes in through the box. "16 minutes since Stony Brook's only goal of the game." Here's Campbell looking to create. Stutter step move. Hands free. Gittleman can't stop that one. Timmy Trankel has number 2.
Earlier I talked about how Virginia extends on the perimeter. They play big boy defense. Now the downside is that was a gorgeous split dodge, right to left. Slide is not taken with the body. And Trankel not only beats one man, but right there goes through 2. So, you know, Virginia, the downside sometimes when you extend on the perimeter is your slide packages aren't as tight. Nice move by Trankel at a time where Stony Brook was desperate for a goal.
Now Ryan Benacasa gets a chance at Rand, and it doesn't matter. Rand right to Waldeck as if he was throwing it to him. Waldeck with over 100 ground balls on the season. He's looking to score. He makes a move and then sends it behind to the attack. Here's a shot opportunity. Just a bit too high, but there's Waldeck creating on the offensive end. That shot got deflected, one of the reasons why it sailed over the crossbar.
The great equalizer, Adam Rand facing off, and Waldeck pushing the tempo.
That was a major adjustment in the first game in the regular season. He dominated in the first half, then Benacasa got a rhythm and went the other way in the second half as Virginia pulled away 13-8. This is Trankel to McBride. Good ball movement, the low shot. Low to high doesn't work for Jordan McBride. Seawolves getting a little bit more aggressive on the offensive end, down by 3.
And right now, Stony Brook is dominating possession time in this game. You know, they haven't had the opportunities that Virginia has, but they're slowing the pace down to what they like.
Good check by Malfris, number 30 on Crowley there. Looked like Crowley had time to get his hands free, but Malfris was there quickly. Here's Tranquil on the invert behind, taking a run at Thompson. Now he goes up top to McBride, who sends it over to Campbell. Dump down pass and goal. The two-man game makes it a two-goal game.
Watch 12 in red. McBride, actually right there, could have been a little moving pick, but it's kind of a flash screen. Where Belton comes up right to left on your screen right there. His man gets caught staring at the ball. It's 24 in white. And so, communication, playing picks on ball.
Now let's see if Rand can play make it, take it. And he does. Rand going the other way. Makes the pass, that one well off the mark. Look alive in the front row behind the net today. But Rand doing his job. Compitello on the restart.
Virginia's defense looking a little, I don't want to say tired, but they're not as sharp as they were early. They played, Matt, as you said, they played a ton of defense here.
That was a long possession by the Seawolves, and they cashed in, so now Compitello. This is Tyler McCabe. Pomper on him. Paul Randazzo out of Smithtown, New York. Back up top to Adams. Stony Brook has already taken 12 shots in just this quarter. Compitello can't beat Clausen. He keeps going. Gittleman makes another save. Back up, McBride and Stony Brook. So it's been a very busy second quarter for Gittleman in the Virginia defense. This is Tranquil as they get the top midfield line out there.
And Coach Schul has to be happy with what his second midfield just accomplished. They moved the ball well, they got a couple scoring chances, but they tired out this Virginia defense. Now they still have possession, and Virginia's probably a bit winded, so they're going to look to attack, I would think, with one of their middies against a short stick.
And with fatigue comes less ball pressure on the perimeter.
This is Campbell. Great takeaway there from Pomper. I guess he's going to get called for a penalty, though.
It actually wasn't Pomper. It's just Pomper makes the check. I believe the Stony Brook player was taken out. Watch after the check is made, right there.
That's Nizelek, very similar to a call to a hit against Kevin Drew in Syracuse. He wasn't called for a penalty on that hit, but a play that was very similar to that one back earlier in the year.
And it's always nice to set a physical tone to a game, but you got to be smart in your opportunities. That was well after they had lost the ball. Just be smart. Don't take that unnecessary hit.
Right in the middle of the field, all three officials got a good look at that one. Tom Abbott, Steve Miller, and Pete Werner are officials in this matchup. So now the Stony Brook extra man unit. This is Adams getting the pass. Feed inside, catch made, what a save by Gittleman. Denying Jordan McBride right on the doorstep.
That does not happen very often.
Mark that one down at 5:25 of the second quarter.
Jordan McBride is shooting 50% on the season. 48 goals, 97 shots coming into today.
So now Ramel Bratner wants to run some time off the penalty. This is Matt White, freshman out of Ridgefield, Connecticut.
And this is going to be a big possession for Virginia. I think they should spin the ball a couple times, give their defense a break, and then attack with Shamel Bratton. Stony Brook hasn't showed the ability to stop him, so I would, and here you go, timeout. I think that's also a great play by Coach Starger.
So they run out the penalty thanks to the big save by Adam Gittleman. Ricky Soule thought this was a one-goal game. Now he's back on defense. Welcome back to Long Island. Virginia with the ball in a 2-goal lead. Just under 5 minutes to play in the first half. For more on the entire Virginia lacrosse situation, let's go back down to the field and Bob Holtzman.
Well, Eamon, it's easy to forget when you're watching a game like this how much stuff the Virginia players are dealing with. Not only are they trying to make the Final Four here today, but they missed graduation ceremonies back in Charlottesville, a very emotional graduation ceremony during which Yardley Love was given an honorary degree. Plus, there's the fact that one of their teammates, George Hughley, still sits in a jail cell. He'll be back in court June 10th. This week, one thing to keep an eye on, there may be a major development in this case. On Wednesday, a judge is expected to rule whether or not to unseal documents in this case. If they are unsealed, that would give us a lot more detail as to what may have led up to these events on May 3rd.
All right, Bob, thank you very much. We will learn more about that this week. These players playing with so many emotions, Matt. You know some of them through their time with Virginia. You see the patches for Yardley Love on their jerseys. How do you get the feeling they've been able to focus on lacrosse during this tournament?
It's been very difficult, but I think it's kind of can't overstate how important the team aspect of this is. These are your best friends, the guys you spend most of your time with. Lean on them when things get difficult, and they'll lean right back. And that's what it seems like these guys are doing very, very well.
So now back to the game. Matt White is now on the field at attack, replacing Connor English. This is Ramel with the ball. Ramel Bratton being guarded by Vonzel Legal. Carroll draws the short stick of Laverne. Waldeck slides. Now Bachlet. Bachlet back to his right. Ginlett all over him, forcing the pass. Good body check there by Legal. Standing him up. No cross-check call. Ramel keeps his feet and keeps dodging. Now he gets it to his brother. Shamel draws the slide. Good active stick by Ginlett to knock it down. Big hit by Waldeck, who's coming up with the ground ball. Virginia has to come up with it and then get it back in the box. Can White do that? No, it stays loose, and Stony Brook forces the turnover, so a stop on the defensive end by Waldeck and the Seawolves.
That was their best defensive possession of the game. They looked fast. They looked on the same page. They kept their matchup integrity and ran toe-to-toe with the Brattons.
Just 3 shots on the quarter for the top-seeded Virginia Cavaliers as the Stony Brook offense now sets up to go back to work. Matt, just how deep is Dom Starch's defensive roster? Because we've been talking about how long they've been out there playing defense. How many different guys can he throw at this offense?
I think he'd like to say it's as deep as his offense, but it really isn't. I think he's got 1, maybe 2 people that can step in on the close defensive side and really compete at this high level at this point in their careers.
Campbell's pass picked off, so the Cavs come up with the turnover. Great catch there by Thompson. Campbell takes him down. No call. Now they put the flag down. Not a very popular decision here on Long Island. They thought we were going the other way with the turnover.
And you see what an outlet pass by Adam Gettleman up to Mikey Thompson. Right there over the head. It's tough. When you fall down like that as a player, they're usually going to call the foul whether it was or not.
They called a push. If anything, it may have been a hold, but I thought it was Thompson's stick that almost tripped himself.
It did look like that. And that's a big break for Virginia in terms of now they can kind of slow it down a little bit, get into an offensive set on the man up.
And watching the body language of the Virginia sideline, I don't think they, in their mind, thought they were going to get that call. There wasn't massive protests going on, let's just put it that way.
And it was late. This is Fuchs, extra man specialist and sometimes starter on the attack unit. He takes the pass from Carroll. Now Carroll from up top gets it back to Schimmel, who thought about it. Bocklet steps in. Carroll. Who's got the best angle? Look at a high riser indeed. Schimmel was fired up to let that one fly. Matt White on the restart.
2 minutes and a half.
Now this is Carroll. Throwing the short stick. Waldeck waiting to slide. Ramel. Ramel, number 3, the righty. Schimmel, predominantly lefty. Now Schimmel looking to line up Waldeck and take a run. Gets a pick and a switch. Here comes another slide. Fans here wanted a warding off pour. Bocklet still has it. He falls.
Tell you, Stony Brook has dominated this second quarter.
And they come up with another defensive stand. Ginlett now in trouble. Good ride by Stanwyck and White. Waldeck chucks it right to Schimmel, but he can't hold on to it. The NCAA coming up on the Warrior halftime report with Lowell Galindo and Mark Dixon. We'll have a recap of this first half. We'll have highlights of Cornell advancing to championship weekend, and we'll have more on the NCAA softball tournament.
You get a goal on this possession, the roof's going to blow off this place, and Stony Brook's going to take a lot of energy into that halftime. And the seeds of doubt.
Well, there you go, offside, so we can scratch that thought. Instead, it looks like Virginia will have a chance to grab momentum heading into the locker room. A mental error by the Seawolves. Now Bocklet finally gets picked up.
And over Virginia here, you have a timeout. If you ever get into any trouble, I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Starger or Coach Van Arsdale on the sideline uses one of those timeouts.
So a key final 30 seconds here of the first half. Stony Brook fighting hard to grab the momentum here in the second quarter and make it a game after it looked like Virginia was going to sprint to championship weekend. Now Schimmel, he started the scoring this half. He passes it to his brother. Good look, but Paul denies his former high school teammate with 10 seconds left.
And yes, Ramel was open there, but you probably are a bit smarter. 14 seconds left. You probably get a better opportunity than that.
So Stony Brook dominates the second quarter to rally and get back in this ball game. Even though the big three haven't made the usual contributions, goose eggs out of Crowley, McBride, and Compitello, they come right back to make it a 2-goal game after 2 quarters. Now let's go back down to the field and Bob Holtzman.
Well, Dom, it was 5-1. Now it's 5-3. How do you feel about where you are at halftime?
Well, I thought we had a couple of good chances that we didn't cash in on. You know, we haven't got anything done at the face-off X yet. I think that's as much as anything is responsible. They've had the ball an awful lot. I think the time of possession greatly favors Stony Brook in the first half there. We got to do something about the face-off X a little bit. Feel like we're in pretty good shape on defense, and we just got to be pacing on offense. I mean, you haven't had the ball for a long time. That's hard to do, but we need to work to get good shots.
Stony Brook clearly would like to play at a slower pace than you guys. How do you try and speed that up?
Well, you know, in our sport, you really can't force a team to play faster. What you really need to do is win ground balls, and I think it does start as much as anything, simple as it may seem, at the face-off X. And so we just see if we can do something at the face-off X, get some balls back there, and then I think we have a chance to set the pace of the game a little bit better.
Good luck in the second half.
Thank you very much.
Stony Brook won 9 of the 10 face-offs in the first half. That's the way the regular season matchup went. We'll see how this turns out. Now let's go to Lowell Galindo and Mark Dixon in the studio. By Enterprise Rent-A-Car. We are moments away from the start of the second half between Virginia and Stony Brook. Will we have a third meeting between Virginia and Duke, or will we have a championship weekend without the top 4 seeds? Eamon McEnany, along with the former All-American goalie Quinn Kesnick and the former Tewaaraton Trophy winner from Virginia, Matt Ward. And Matt, in that first half, Schimmel Bratton was ready to go with the opening whistle.
Yeah, we mentioned him in the open as being one of the dominant forces in the game of college lacrosse. Early on, he was exactly that. Just going, getting his shot at ease, and right here, the pretty over-the-top shot And then here again, the carbon copy just going down to his strong left hand and beats Parr up top.
Virginia led 5-1, but then Stony Brook goalie Charlie Parr picked it up. Body save after body save. He made 5 of them. And all of a sudden, Virginia now hasn't scored a goal in over 12 minutes. Combine that with some great face-off work from Adam Rand, who won 9 out of 10. Next thing you know, we got a ball game. At 5-1, it didn't look good for the Seawolves, but they've clawed their way back into this.
For more on the Seawolves, before we start the second half, let's go down to Bob Holtzman.
Well, just talked to Stony Brook head coach Rick Sohl, who said that he really feels like his team still has to calm down. Even though they're right in this game, he feels like they practiced great all week, but he said, you know what, lights, camera, action, and they really haven't calmed down yet. He said at this point, though, they're right in the game, and he feels like they still left some goals out there on the field. So not a pretty good sign for Stony Brook.
All right, Bob, thank you very much. The face-off, always key. Dom Starr, you talked about it before he went into the locker room. It's McDermott, 26 out there.
2 Poles for Virginia on the wing right now. Malfris, 30, and Clausen, 27.
The scrum continues. Can you put a stall warning in on a face-off? Mano a mano. And the call goes against McDermott. He's got to come off for the hold.
How long did that last? That was 24 seconds.
24 seconds.
24 seconds.
So Stony Brook gets a chance to make this a 1-goal ball game with the opening possession of the second half. This is Campbell. Adam Gittleman really kept this a 2-goal game. What adjustments defensively does Virginia have to make?
I think they just got a bit tired in the second quarter. And, you know, when they're fresh, they can get out and they feel real confident in their matchups.
Here's Tranquil.
They are doing a nice job against Kevin Crowley.
This is Campbell.
McBride had that one look on extra man and missed a layup.
Drop pass. Big hit there. No hold call there as Malfris had Crowley tied up. Now Ramel Bratton, number 3, is out there. Not exactly a defensive specialist.
I think he's one of the best defensive midfielders in the country. He just doesn't get much time out there. If he focuses and digs in, both he and Chamel could be outstanding defensive players.
But if I'm Stony Brook, I'm thinking maybe take a run at him to tire him out so he's not as 100% on the offensive end when you have the opportunity here.
Stall warning called on the Seawolves.
Yeah, I talked to an ACC coach who had that same thought in his mind. Let's keep the Brattons on the field.
Inside roll by Campbell. The Seawolves attack and execute. It's 5-4.
Stony Brook goes to a heavy dosage of the invert. Double comes. And just strength, the ability to keep that ball in your pocket. Robbie Campbell, inside roll, deals with 2, and then finishes.
And it's put up or shut up time now for Virginia at the faceoff X. They're 1 for 11 in this game. They need to start getting possessions very quickly.
Campbell now has a goal and assist. Brandon McDermott. Goal again, the last one, 24 seconds.
Elbows involved, forehead. Look at how Rand's using his forehead. And you'll see the elbow of the Virginia face-off man.
Waldeck trying to poke in there and come up with it. McDermott steps up, squirts it out. Mikey Thompson there, so Virginia wins a face-off. Now they jump the ball, but he gets rid of it to English. Carroll had to step off the substitution, but a mental error by Stanwyck just loses it out of bounds along the end line.
I've been most impressed with Ginley of all the Stony Brook defenders and the job he's done against Steele Stanwyck.
Coach Sohl told us this week he was hoping that his veteran experience would pay off in the atmosphere in the big game. And now he has the ball into the middle of the field. And Legal. So now the Seawolves looking for a chance to tie it. How loud would this place get if they made this ball game 5-5? Malfris way out on Crowley. And it has been some of the unsung guys for the Stony Brook Seawolves on offense. Not the familiar names the fans have come to know, like Crowley, McBride, and Compitello. Here's Compitello with Clausen on him. Good check there by Malfris. Comes up with his own ground ball, so a cause turnover by Bray Malfris. Lovejoy up ahead to LaPierre.
Tell you, Malfris has really held up well against Crowley.
He's a big physical kid that brings a lot of energy to the defensive end, and this year really hasn't had any midi put up big points on him. He doesn't get the credit I think he deserves as one of the nation's best long sticks.
As a defensive long stick, so many of the long sticks now getting all the attention of the guys who score goals, guys like Farrell and Waldeck.
Waldeck waits for Schimmel to make his move. His brother sets a pick. Now it's Romel's turn. Waldeck quickly slides.
You got to run hard if you expect to get to the goal.
Now let's see what Carroll can do. He gets a step, draws the slide. Good collapse by Waldeck. Virginia has gone 17 minutes without a goal. That is something you do not hear often.
And in that 17 minutes, they really haven't had a great opportunity. I think they hit one post. Other than that, the Stony Brook defense has answered the bell, and they're playing great team defense.
Now Sopko on the switch draws Stanwyck.
A little too much isolation from Virginia and a lot of standing around off ball.
Here's English drawing the slide. Parr takes that one in the chest. Good ground ball by Romel Bratton, keeping it down at this end. This is the final game of the quarterfinal round of the NCAA Lacrosse Championships. Virginia, the top seed, in a dogfight on the road against Stony Brook. Carroll loses it. We're going the other way. 4-on-3 for Stony Brook. Good job by Lovejoy. Ground ball right in front of the Virginia net. Still loose. Here comes Clausen. He can't pick it up. He gets popped. Waldeck, he will attack. Clausen recovers. A great effort there by Ken Clausen. Now here comes Schimmel Bratton with under 9 minutes to play in the third.
Lovejoy, a masterful job playing the point on defense, working with the ball carrier and his man, getting his stick up in the passing lane. That was a great play by Matt Lovejoy.
Duke has advanced and awaits the winner of this game. Blue Devil head coach John Danowski in attendance scouting. He knows Virginia pretty well. Now Schimmel Bratton loses it. Waldeck knocks it forward. Good check there. But Waldeck keeps coming. Now he comes up with it. He's got a man wide open in the middle. Now he gives it to him. Extra pass. Will it go out of bounds? No, the turf keeps it up. Gittleman way out of the net. He loses it. Watch out. He's got to get rid of it. Compitello all over him. Great effort by Adam Gittleman. Do they get it across?
I can't believe Virginia's not making a midfield substitution.
Now he's got his man on an island. Good slide. Schimmel trying to get his hands free. Instead, he decides to go behind. Now let's see if they make a substitution. John Haldy waiting to go out there.
Tell you, Virginia looks a little on the ragged side. I got to tell you, is the emotion of the last 2 weeks coming to the surface now? Last week against Mount St. Mary's, they looked fast and always fresh.
They look nervous, right? I mean, it looks like they're making simple mistakes, ones that they haven't been accustomed to doing all season. They need a big play from one of their key players right here.
Ginlett all over Stanwyck behind. Now Stanwyck tries to get a pick. Pass up top. Haldy can't bring it in. But he's there for the ground ball.
And that's a play Virginia usually connects on. They do a nice job from Stanwyck isolating behind. They have John Haldy stepping down a shot, a chance they usually execute. But today, they are struggling.
Now Bocklet being covered by a short stick. Switch there by Virginia. They get it behind. So now Bocklet being guarded by Laverne. Draws the slide. Good collapse defense. Stony Brook doing a good job of recovering. Stall warning on Virginia. Stanwyck gets to the middle of the field. He still has it. Stanwyck making a move right into Charlie Parr's stick. His 7th save. The NCAA Lacrosse Championship continues with semifinal action beginning Saturday, May 29th at 4 p.m. Eastern, live on ESPN2 HD. For more information, go to NCAA.com, the official online home for all 88 NCAA championships. So a timeout on the field. Stony Brook with a chance to even it up when we return. NCAA Lacrosse quarterfinal action presented by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Virginia with the 1-goal lead. Now let's take a closer look at the game with a Warrior Pro session on wing dodging with our own Quint Kesnick and Major League Lacrosse attackman Matt Danowski.
As a ball carrier, anytime you can get a defender to step or lunge out at you, that's to your advantage. Matt Danowski, pro attackman, will show from this wing dodge he wants to initiate contact, creating some angle. And then, Matt, what are you doing right here?
Right now, I want to step away from my defender, make him lunge at me, and then duck underneath him, protect my stick with my back, and then finish in front of the cage.
Step away like a yo-yo, like a zigzag, full speed. Here's what it looks like. He presses the goal, nothing's there, step away, defenseman overcommits, ball's in the back of the goal. That's a gorgeous wing dodge showing the importance of initiating contact. Connor English earlier today, watch the change of speed, change of direction, creating angle for himself. Have a plan, get to good spots on the field.
That was the last Virginia goal. That made it 5-1. Since then, it has been all Stony Brook, and they break the huddle with a chance to make this a tie ball game here in the 3rd quarter.
And Stony Brook has played their script to perfection. They are doing everything they want. They're winning faceoffs. They're controlling tempo. They're probably not shooting as well as they'd like, but they are dominating the pace of play.
And they've kept the 8,500, the sold-out crowd, now engaged and very much a part of this ball game. And they're pulling energy from the crowd.
The winner of this game meets Duke, the final spot of championship weekend on the line. This is Trankel from the wing. He goes behind. Now Campbell makes a move on Pomper. Draws the slide. Extra pass. Crowley goes right down and scores. Great ball movement by the Seawolves, and we are tied.
Off the timeout, you see you have 3 Canadians involved in this play, and the stick skills and precision are terrific. Guys who are very comfortable with operating in tight spaces. The defense isn't particularly bad, but against these Canadians, you've got to get on the hips and be more physical. Crowley gets to the absolute middle of the field.
So again, it looks like it's McDermott back at the face-off X to go up against Rand. Malfris and LaPierre, so they go back to a short stick on the wing. They did have Clausen out there at the start of the quarter.
And now if you're a ref, they're probably going to call a procedure at some point. Who do you call it on?
Well, as long as they keep moving, they're not going to call for withholding. Now, once you have the ball clamped, they're going to say, get it out, get it out.
Rand had it clamped, and he comes up with it. So another face-off win, but he throws it away. Crowley there. That was a tricky pass, but Quint mentioned the stick skills of the Canadian players from that box background, indoor lacrosse, and he's able to pick it up.
The more half-field 6-on-6 this game is, the more it favors Stony Brook because of their Canadian box experience and Virginia's superior team's speed, but Virginia has not scored in transition or even gotten scoring transition attempts in the last 15 or so minutes.
So with Virginia's 4-goal lead now all gone, Stony Brook looking for the lead, and they drop it. A great check by Malfris. Ball being made. It'll stay with Stony Brook. For more on the Virginia Cavaliers, let's hear from Bob Holtzman.
Bad body language right now on the Virginia bench. A bunch of guys with hands on their hips looking down at the ground. Dom Starsia just told his team 2 things. Get your heads up, and there's too much standing around and watching on the field. He said, get moving. It's going to be interesting to see how they respond the next 24 minutes. They haven't played but a handful of close games all year.
Thank you very much, Bob. Certainly battle-tested earlier in the year by Syracuse at home. Maryland came back to make that one interesting, but certainly Virginia has won most of its games going away. Great check there as they went for the swim move, but Malfris takes it away. Up ahead to LaPierre. Man in the middle of the field. It's Pomper. Good job by Stony Brook to get back. So now Virginia again needs an answer.
Virginia has not done a good job of keeping Stony Brook offensive midfielders on the field. Every time we look up, Crowley's getting a breather on the bench. They have Campbell now caught, 37 in red.
He's guarding Brian Carroll to the left of Charlie Parr on the far side. And now here is that matchup. Waldeck out there, goes out on Schimmel. Swing move, hands free, not even close. As we're approaching 25 minutes since the last goal by Virginia.
Bob's report on the sideline was Coach Starsia's comments really directed towards his offense. What we've seen, Matt, in the last 10 or so minutes is 1 Dodger and 5 other guys kind of not doing much, standing around. What has to change offensively?
You know, Virginia's been a team all year where they have that first dodge, not necessarily to score, but just to create some sort of movement on the defense, and then you make 1 or 2 sharp passes. You find a Chris Bocklett, you find a John Haldy inside for an opportunity, and they just haven't done that all game.
Here's some quick ball movement around Bocklett. Now Carroll with time and room and an angle, but Parr ready for the high-to-high shot. When they get a look, Parr has had the answer. 8 saves for Charlie Parr. Ginlett makes the clear. Gets it in the box. Now he's in trouble. Malfris goes for the over the head. Ginlett can't make him pay. Gittleman with the stop. Gittleman to Ramel. This might be an opportunity. Tired defenders out there. Laverne goes way out. LeGall goes way out. Feed inside. Bocklett catch and shoot. The drought is over. Virginia back on top.
And just a nice job by Ramel Bratton. He clears it himself. He takes it behind X. He fakes to Matt White inside. That opens up Chris Bocklett, who's as good as anyone, and finishing those 1-on-0 opportunities.
Been a quiet day for Bocklett. Hasn't gotten his usual amount of shot attempts.
They haven't really had the ball, like you mentioned.
But, Eamon, you called it. You sensed on that possession that Stony Brook's defense was vulnerable, and they weren't.
Rand wins it on the violation, so another face-off win for number 10.
And if I'm Virginia, I keep going back to Benacasa. I think he lost that one there. He jumped. He hadn't taken as many. But this is a kid who won about 10 straight face-offs against Rand early in the season. What you've been doing so far hasn't worked, so you've got to change it up and do something different.
So Stony Brook playing from behind once again. Campbell draws the switch, the 2-man game. Good check there by Pomper. No call on the loose ball. Who's going to come up with it? Good scooch play to Compitello. Kyle Belton with a good play. Now Crowley as we approach the final minute of the third. Thompson double, the dump down pass, extra pass. Gittleman with the denial. That is twice now on the doorstep. Gittleman has made the save. We go the other way. Extra pass, Bachlick puts away. That is a goal. That is a 2-goal swing in this ball game.
I can tell you 2 times today, Stony Brook has jammed the ball inside. Turn and rake, face them off, not quite. Gittleman, a low posture, gets that stick up.
And then he gets it to the captain, Steele Stanwick, who finds Bachlick for a 2nd straight goal. What a turn of events. Adam Gittleman, huge save, then throws the perfect outlet pass, and then just tic-tac-toe passing to get Chris Bachlick on the doorstep.
Mark that one down with 45 seconds left. Is that the momentum swing that the Cavaliers need to pull away from the home team in the 4th quarter? Another face-off win and ground ball for Stony Brook. Under 30 seconds to play. Compitello. Clausen goes for the over-the-head check. Then Compitello with the swim move. Somehow he holds on to it, and he can't put it on cage.
That's a great job by Compitello fighting through Clausen. Had a whole lot of stick there. He took the extra step, just kind of pulled it, and then paid for it. With the question probably late hit by Virginia.
12 seconds left in the quarter. Now 10. This is Campbell. They're not in a rush right now with 5. Now he shakes and bakes, draws the slide, tough feed inside, and Gittleman picks up the ground ball. So a late surge by the Cavaliers gives the momentum back to Virginia. They end a scoreless streak of 25 minutes and 37 seconds, and they head to the final 15 minutes, up by 2. 1 spot left in Baltimore. Certainly a fan-friendly game here on Long Island as we head to the 4th quarter. The top-seeded Virginia Cavaliers up by 2. Now let's take a look at our teamwork breakdown brought to you by the U.S. Marines.
Sharing the rock and being unselfish on offense is an essential. Campbell pushes from the wing, draws 2. Looks like you're going to shoot, but pass it on. One more. McBride to Crowley. Look at the in and out of sticks quickly. Hand-eye coordination. Talented Canadians get together on that play. 3 guys from British Columbia.
So, Matt, you asked for a new face-off guy, but it's Garrett Ince, not Ryan Benacosta, to go out there to try to stop Adam Rand. He's won 13 of the 15 face-offs, and this time he does win it right to himself. Rand, great check, helicopter, but they pick it up anyway. Kyle Belton picks it up off the rug and makes it 7-6. Quint, did you say something about talented Canadians with stick skills?
You know, Rand has been winning draws all day. He only had 3 ground balls before this face-off. Great hustle by Ince. And Belton just gets a jump on it. And I tell you, visually, very distracting for Gittleman. That stick goes flying. Next thing you know, the ball's on the ground.
And just being at the right place at the right time by Belton gets it in and out of his stick in a lightning second.
Just a little faster to react to the loose ball.
So now they go back to McDermott, 26. These scrums have taken about 20 seconds off the clock.
Virginia wing play has really let themselves down. Another example right here.
Ran right to Waldeck.
Clausen was on Waldeck, but didn't stay with him. You got to maintain your matchup and get inside position.
Now Waldeck looking to tie it up, but he keeps it going in and scores! It counts! What a play! This place is going bonkers.
Stephen Waldeck just does a great job. Look at this individual effort with a long stick. Gets Stony Brook's 2nd goal in 26 seconds in this 4th quarter. And right here, Clausen a little impatient with his checks. No one takes the body. He ends up on the doorstep. Nothing Adam Gittleman can do.
A long stick making a spin move in the middle of the field right in front of the goal. Gives us a whole brand new ball game with 14:34 left to play. Just when you thought Virginia had a little bit of a cushion, McDermott now wins a face-off. Wonder if Rand's getting tired. Now, how does Virginia answer with the ball?
The Bratton should be fresh. Virginia has not had long offensive possessions.
Here's Shamel with it. Over to Carroll. This is Carroll. Carroll draws the slide, feeds up top to the wing. Ramel can't put it on Cage. The NCAA Softball Regionals presented by Capital One continues tonight on ESPNU and ESPNU HD. First at 5:30 Eastern, the defending national champion Washington Huskies take on the winner of Nebraska and North Carolina. Then at 8 Eastern, they will meet again if necessary. Stanwick restarts the offense, gets a pick from Carroll. He now is guarded by a short stick. Miscommunication, you cannot give Shamel Bratton that look.
Hat trick for Shamel. A gorgeous offensive possession at a time where Virginia needed it. Stanwick, Ramel, communication issues all day. Straight overhand, left-handed, shoot the far post and hard. Wow, right inside the post. Started with Stanwick drawing the eyes of the defense and some snappy ball movement.
McDermott back to X. He won the last one. That set up that goal. These two guys are going to know each other very well. A quick whistle goes against Rand. I missed where he was pointed. It goes against Virginia, so Stony Brook gets it right back. So another face-off win for Rand and Stony Brook. Compitello now with it. Here's Tranquil. The crowd here definitely into this ball game. Campbell draws the switch. Lovejoy on him. Crowley moving in on Malphus. Malphus has a broken stick, but they can't take advantage and they go flag.
You cannot play with that broken stick. Tell you, if Crowley could get Malphus in space, he could probably draw some fouls. As soon as this breaks, Malphus must just drop both parts of it. Ooh, that's scary. Guy coming at you with a broken pole like that.
And if you are, Malphus, that's probably the play to do, because you have Kevin Crowley 1-0 with the goalkeeper. Give your man down defense a chance to kind of kill off that broken stick.
Stony Brook's second extra man opportunity of the game. They did not cash in on the first. Nizelik goes way out on the ball.
Virginia striking here.
Disrupting the rhythm. Taking seconds off the extra man. Skip pass well off the mark and high. So the increased intensity from the man down unit does its job.
Great strategy. Great strategy. You see, a lot of teams in the NCAA tournament will shut off a primetime player. Virginia, because of their speed, they stretch the defense, press their matchups. Stony Brook caught off guard.
And I think that's Dom kind of showing the confidence he has in Adam Gettleman, who's played great this game. And when you extend out like that, you do give up opportunities. And he had the confidence that his keeper was going to make the stop if he had to face one.
Only a 30-second foul. The strategy will buy you some time.
Bocklet can't make the catch as he was on the cut, and Lovejoy got it to him. Another ground ball for Waldeck. Does Bocklet go over? Yes, a good poke check, but Waldeck gets it back. Big hit there. No flag. Waldeck holds on to it. Gets it to Legall. Nizelik all over the hands. Tough angle. Belton will have backup. Compitello's been quiet after a hat trick a week ago against Denver in the first round. Compatella gets a breather. Brett Drost goes out there, the junior. Here's Crowley.
Been on the field the whole game.
Here's Campbell. Gets a pick. You hear them screaming invert. That means a midfielder who normally plays up top is going to attack from behind and take a run at the freshman short stick Lapierre. It's Tranquil. Quick slide. Campbell loses the pass. Lovejoy pokes it to himself. Can't come up with it. He's playing without a stick, and that'll get called. Dom Starsia not happy with that. The ball in his end.
If you're Lovejoy, you're thinking, I don't have my stick. Kick it so you don't get a fast break against you possibly. They didn't think you were going to get the ground ball. So Coach Sargent not happy, but all in all, not that dumb a play by Lovejoy.
11 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Dom Starsia's club up by 1. Campbell gets it in the box. The number 2 seed is out. The number 3 seed is out. The 4 seed is out. The 1 seed is in a dogfight on the road. Crowley gets a pick. So now they get it to Campbell.
Tell you, last week in the fourth quarter, Stony Brook sent Kevin Crowley behind the goal.
He gets a step on Pomper. Nizelek ready for the double. Ball movement up top. Tranquil doesn't take it. Clausen with the trail check. Unsettled. Feed inside. Catch made.
Great cut by Brent Drost.
Just couldn't put it on Cage.
On the flight of the ball behind the net, he was intuitive. He was thinking ahead. He cut the seam.
This is Tyler McCabe. Getting some fresh legs out there. Compatello ready to go back on the field. Crowley still out there. Crowley and Malphus will have no problem sleeping tonight. They have been out there for almost the entire game. Tranquil gets a step coming around the cross cage feed. Compatello can't make the catch. This is McCabe, feed inside.
And that's a shot McBride's got to finish. He's had about 3 or 4 from that exact same spot where he's missed the cage. He isn't even making the goalies make saves. He's one of your best finishers, one of the best finishers in the country. He's got to get that on goal.
As Coach Ricky Soul told us, he's been quiet, shut off, and then kind of fell into a slump, not shooting the percentage that he was earlier in the year.
Similar feel right now to the one we had yesterday as Notre Dame held on to a lead. Cross cage feed shot. The skip pass gets blocked. Clausen can't come up with it. Compatello there. He gets smothered. Who's going to come up with it? What's the call? It's Virginia's ball.
And Virginia, usually one of the best ground ball teams in the country, is missing a lot of these opportunities that leads the transition. They're not picking it up clean. And you know, a lot of that has to do with the pressure that Stony Brook's applying to them, hitting that backhand constantly, not making it easy for them to pick it up.
And emotionally and physically, where is this Virginia team?
Stony Brook 27 ground balls, Virginia 20. This is the final quarterfinal game of the NCAA Lacrosse Championships presented by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Buddy pass. Carroll keeps it in bounds and comes up with a ground ball. Unsettled. They slow things up. Chamel wants it. Gets it. Good collapse defense. Now Ramel Bratton with a look. Little too far out of his range there with 8:22 left to play. 1 spot left in championship weekend in Baltimore. Will it be the top-seeded Virginia Cavaliers or the champions of the America East Conference Stony Brook Seawolves?
Matt, from an emotional level and fatigue, compared what you're seeing today to maybe the Virginia team you saw in the ACC championship.
They look rattled, and I don't know if it's this hostile crowd, what Stony Brook's doing to them. all the pressure and the emotions have been running wild with them. But right now, they don't look like that Virginia team that earned the #1 seed throughout the year. Credit Stony Brook for that. I think it's a lot to do with how they're playing them.
Stony Brook certainly feeding off this sellout crowd. Rand at the face-off X, dominating that. Keep giving the ball back to the Seawolves. But now Carroll looking to make it a 2-goal cushion. Feed inside. White can't hold on to it. Ground ball picked up by Stony Brook. He loses it. Schimel there for Virginia. And he slows things down for the Cavaliers.
And that last opportunity for Virginia is kind of what I'm talking about. That's usually a pass that they make crisp to Matt White, who gets a shot off. Everything just seems a little bit off. They're making it difficult on themselves.
We saw that yesterday with Maryland as the Terps weren't as crisp as they were during the regular season. Missing on some great opportunities. Stanwyck backs up. Trying to shut off Bocklett with the short stick. Jared Laverne all over number 10. Now he has it.
Bocklett's got a short.
Here he is, so they're going to bring him behind. This is Laverne matched up on Bocklett. Gets above goal line extended. Parr with a shoulder save. Waldeck selling out, but Stanwyck comes up with it. 6.5 minutes left to play. Virginia with the ball in a 1-goal lead. Stall warning called on the Cavaliers. They must keep it in the box.
I think that's a bit premature. Virginia just got a shot on goal, taking it from X. They were bringing the action. Not sure why the refs felt the need to call a stall warning there.
Here is Ramel Bratton. Feed inside. Parr got a piece of that one. Ground ball there by Stanwyck. The extra pass to Carroll. Time and room. Gindlet blocks that one, and it comes out of the box. So a turnover off the shot. Quick restart. Waldeck wants to go. He gets it to Legault. So a big stop on the defensive end by Stony Brook gives the offense a chance to tie it with 5:45 left to play. They had a man open. Crowley off the restart. They get it to him in the middle of the field. Time and room. He beats Gittleman. We are all even at 8.
Chaos coming out of the substitution box. You got to find 21, mark up with him, and stop the ball. Untouched.
It all started on the defensive end with the stop. That created the unsettled opportunity on the substitution. McDermott and Rand one more time. 5.5 minutes left. McDermott to Thompson. Extra pass. Bocklett takes a shot. Virginia answers just like that.
And this is a huge goal for Virginia. One of their first face-off wins of the game. They're able to create a bunch of transition. You have McDermott fighting it out. He pops it right to Mikey Thompson, who keeps chugging down the field and gets it to your best outside shooter at the point position. Chris Botlett drills the lower corner.
Talked about the impact of wing play.
And this is the third face-off right now, kind of in a quick period of time for Rand. So the last time I was there, he seems a bit tired. That's why Virginia was able to kind of push it forward.
Great sellout by McDermott to knock it to Thompson. Rand certainly looks a little slow now at the X. As we approach the 5-minute mark, Virginia with a chance to be a little patient on this offensive set. They send Haldy out there. 32, Matt Kugler, some fresh legs for the Virginia offense. Briggs out there as well. We have not seen a lot of the second midfield in this second half.
Well, Virginia really hasn't had the ball too much, so these Bratton brothers and Carroll are pretty healthy, and this just speaks to the confidence Coach Starja has on this line.
Waldeck goes out on the switch. Now Gindlet on the ball. Gindlet all over Kugler. Comes out of the box. Stall warning again on Virginia. Last time they turned it over. Stanwyck gets Waldeck on the run.
Taking their time within the confines of their offense. They haven't totally shut it down yet.
And this is the opportunity where you attack from X. When that stall warning comes on, it's a lot easier to keep in the ball and play effective offense, creating from the backside of the goal.
Bachlet moves it around, and they put it in. Coming around. It's Colin Briggs with the goal.
Of all the members of the second midfield, Briggs has done the best job this year. He's fast, he's aggressive, strong right-handed tendencies, and he shows some courage there, catching and saying, you know what, I'm going to take a chance. Trusts himself to make a play. Well-placed shot.
And early in the game, we mentioned UVA was just dodging to score for themselves. Last couple goals have been nice passing, so that seems to be more of the style of play they like and feel comfortable doing.
Rand and McDermott again. Rand this time right to Waldeck. No, Waldeck cannot bring it in. So a break for Virginia there. And then a tough pass. Good defense by Clausen. Stick inside. Clausen comes up with it. He's got a man right in front of him, and he gets it to Popper, but it's a bad pass. Gindlet can't hold on to it. Stanwyck, good box out there to create the turnover. So both teams now forcing passes with 3:18 left to play.
Now's where Stony Brook has to turn up the heat defensively, and they will use a timeout to start organizing some pressure defense.
So we will take a break as well. 3 minutes and 18 seconds left in regulation. Dom Starge's troops up by 2. Virginia up by 2, and Matt Ward, one of the big reasons for Virginia being the top seed, the emergence of the sophomore out of Westchester County.
Yeah, and Chris Bachlet has been a big surprise for this University of Virginia team. He has 49 goals on the year. He's so crafty inside, and you get him in a position to put the ball in the back of the net. Like right there, he's as good as it gets.
Product of John Jay Cross River High School. We've detailed this throughout the year, Quint, but what an experience he had growing up. His brother Mike, a great attackman at Fairfield. His other brother Matt was a defenseman, so one guy taught him the tricks of one position, and then he learned about, how to attack the defenseman from his brother Matt.
He is a student of the game. He's a guy who pays great attention to the details on offense, whether it's shooting, and I love his technique and his fundamentals with his shooting. He's as good-looking a shooter as you will see. But his off-ball game is terrific as well. He understands offensive patterns, and he works hard on loose balls. He does the dirty work as well.
That is what's at stake here in the final 3 minutes and 18 seconds of regulation. Duke, Cornell, and Notre Dame already have their tickets punched for Baltimore. The NCAA Lacrosse Championship continues with semifinal action beginning Saturday, May 29th at 4 p.m. Eastern, live on ESPN2 HD. For more information, go to NCAA.com, the official online home for all 88 NCAA championships. So, Quint, the Seawolves took a timeout there on defense. 3:18 left, down by 2. What's the strategy?
You need the ball, and the question is when you pull your goalie. I've seen Virginia with Shamel and Ramel Bratton run circles around teams. I've seen them run circles around double teams. They are tough to stay with here in these late game situations. They're so fast, and they'll just run and carry. And Dom Starge still has 2 timeouts. See under Virginia, you got 2 dash marks. He will be stalking the referees on the sideline.
Bachlet decides to attack. Waldeck with a check.
Horrible decision. Just talking about the high lacrosse IQ of Bachlet, and that was not the decision.
But good hustle by Stanwyck on the ride. They're not going to be able to get this ball over midfield, and as soon as I say that, Gindlet does. So we're 2 for 2 there. Gindlet now.
Stony Brook out of timeouts.
Gets it in the box. 2:36 left to go. Virginia went for the goal instead of running time off this game.
And something to think about here is it's a 2-goal lead, but the way the face-offs have been going down, that's not your standard 2-goal lead. It's more like a 1.5-goal lead.
So Quint said the Brattons are great defensive midfielders. We might find out right now as Tranquil takes a run. At Ramel, now coming around, shot and a goal! Compatello makes it a one-goal ball game. So the strategy to attack the net backfires on Virginia.
You got to manage clock and score. Perimeter defense, not bad. Clausen, poor angle play. He's caught ball watching. Watch 27, gets there. He's a fraction of a second late. And Compatello turns the corner, but it starts with just a brutal decision on the offensive end of the field.
And now it starts with a face-off, a one-goal ball game. 2:11 left to play. McDermott and Rand. Malfors waiting on the defensive end, almost conceding. It's 3-on-2 right now on this ground ball. Now Malfors starts to approach the party.
Virginia, you try to kill as much time in this face-off X. Only 2 minutes left. You might as well try
Rand
to keep
still
it topped
has
up.
it. McDermott thought he had to rake it out, but it was under Rand's stick. Now they get a call. A hold. And Stony Brook has a chance to tie it. Crowley. That face-off started at 2:11. It ended at around 1:42.
You better pay attention.
Trankel. He's been active drawing slobs. Stony Brook out of timeouts. Trankel on the invert. Campbell shoots. Stony Brook with the backup with 1:06 left to play.
I think Adam Gettleman's a bit disappointed that one didn't end up on cage, so he can save it and get possession.
Compatello scored the last goal. Draws the double. Moves it. Campbell. The great collapse defense. Lovejoy with the hit. Will that be Stony Brook's last chance? No, they're going to get it back. Lovejoy rushed the clear instead of working some clock. He chucked it down to the other end, so we're going the other way with 42. This is Trankel. Here comes Crowley. Trankel. Quick shot right to the stick of Gittleman. A rush shot with 29 seconds left. Now, how patient is Virginia on the clear?
20 to clear, but the clock was at 27 when he made the save.
Into the middle of the field, it's Thompson with 15. Thompson gets it over midfield. They can run the clock out. 10 seconds. Adam Gittleman makes the save. Lovejoy with one hit, then Gittleman with the save. Virginia 7 seconds away from Baltimore.
And Stony Brook had an opportunity here. They get the ball into the position to shoot. They have McBride, who hasn't had a goal all game. Adam Gettleman has read his shot, his release all day, and what a big stop for the Virginia Cavaliers.
13th save for Adam Gittleman, and an easy save. As long as you're ready, this shot, A, lacked velocity, and B, it wasn't well placed.
Again, Stony Brook out of timeouts. So Ricky Soule had to let his players freelance and create on their own.
Yeah, really, unless Virginia makes some kind of colossal error here, this game is done. And there's almost no way that Stony Brook can get the turnover and get the ball down the field in 7 seconds.
Again, on the field is almost, half the story with these Virginia Cavaliers. Last week, an easy win. This one, a final second, final minute, white knuckler. Emotionally, lacrosse-wise, is this kind of what Virginia needed to get back into? I mean, granted, they won, so they'll take it, but emotionally to get into a tight game.
Yeah, they came out against Mount St. Mary's, who was a bit overmatched and had an easy go of it, and that was probably easy on them. But in this game, there's a lot on their mind with everything that's happened, and when it starts to get close, you start making mistakes. You make mental mistakes. It's like quicksand. All these things start to happen, and they happen fast, and that's why, for them, this is probably good to get back into a close game, but also fight off those emotions they've been struggling with.
Sports Center U comes up next. Charlie Parr is out of the cage guarding Bocklet. 7 seconds away from a third meeting with Duke. championship weekend. 4 seconds, 3. Schimmel puts it on the rug to end it. The Cavaliers survive and advance. The top seed was tested big time by the Stony Brook Seawolves, but Adam Gettleman had 1 save left, and Virginia is heading to Baltimore.
Tell you, Gettleman made 3 stops over the course of this ball game. Remember those 2 big one-on-one stops and then the one at the end. And at a time where Virginia didn't make great decisions, it was Gettleman, and he was just a rock all game long. 13 saves on the afternoon.
But if I had to pick one MVP for the whole game, it's Adam Rand for Stony Brook. He was able to control the face-off X. Therefore, they could control the tempo of the game, keep Virginia out of loops and out of sorts. And for him, they ended up losing, but without him, who knows where this game would have been.
So a great season comes to an end for the Stony Brook Seawolves. We will return to Long Island to wrap up this thriller between Virginia and Stony Brook. Championship weekend is set in Baltimore. Virginia gets quite a test from Stony Brook, but moves on with the 1-goal victory. Now let's head back down to the sidelines with Bob Holtzman standing by with Coach Starja.
Well, Dom, congratulations on making it back to the Final Four. First of all, after the emotions of the last 3 weeks, not only you personally, but also with everything going on in Charlottesville, how does it feel right now?
I'm not sure, Bob. I'm not sure I can take a lot more of this, to be honest. Sometimes in situations like this, you just got to be good enough to win. Give a lot of credit to Stony Brook and Ricky Sold. He's got a great program. He's a great guy, and they played their hearts out today. And I give our kids credit for kind of gutting it out. It never was easy. It seemed like we just couldn't pick up a face-off at all. They seemed to have an answer every time we would get a little bit of a lead and look like we might get control of the game. They came back and got one on us, but we kept battling, and we never gave in. And certainly for us to be still playing at this time of year, that's the point.
Another week of practice now. Where's the energy of your team after the past few weeks?
Well, I'm going to guess we're going to need a day or so to get past this one. We got graduation tomorrow. Certainly a day to recover. We're just going to have to turn around and keep playing. That's what this time of the year demands, is that you got to get ready to go and you got to go hard.
You beat Stony Brook by 5 goals early in the season. What was the difference today? Why so difficult?
It just seemed like we struggled a lot. We weren't lucky shooting the ball early. I thought we had some chances. We could have stretched the lead out early in the game. Their goalie came up. We just missed a couple. We were in the crease, and then they just kind of kept coming back. It was their field and a good crowd, and they fed on that emotion a little bit. And again, credit to them, I think, for making a lot of plays.
Dom, congratulations. We'll let you go shake hands.
Thank you very much, Bob. Hey, fellas.
So we take a look at the bracket. It will be the 3rd meeting this year between Virginia and Duke. The regular season matchup in Charlottesville, all Duke. The ACC semifinal rematch, all Virginia. This time it's for a spot in Championship Monday on the line between these 2 ACC rivals.
A lot of people are going to say, oh, that game's the de facto national championship game. I would not go there, and I will not. We've learned. You can't do that. It's their games. You can't look ahead in the bracket. Yes, Notre Dame and Cornell aren't seated as high, but should be a great weekend in Baltimore.
And again, I think Virginia next week against Duke is going to have to do a much better job on face-offs. And that was what won the game for Duke in the first game, and then a week later, Virginia came out on top on the face-off. So that's going to be the key, in my opinion. In the words of the coach, Virginia gutted it out. Our final score, Virginia 10, Stony Brook 9. Coming up next, Sports Center U. The preceding has been an exclusive presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Quint Kesnick, Matt Ward, Bob Holtzman, and our entire ESPNU crew, I'm Eamon McEnany. So long from Stony Brook. Virginia advances to the NCAA semifinals. Now let's join Lowell Galindo and Mark Dixon in the studio.